Well, it is a wet Thursday across the state line in Oklahoma, the May 16th. It's been kind of peaceful but wet, but wind's kicking up. I'm wondering if something bad's trying to happen. So I got numbers for week 15 here. I'm going to go ahead and get into them. I'm also going to answer a few things, or state a few things, I guess, I don't know, involving some comments from last week. So I guess I didn't do a good job explaining anything. I was trying to be quick and kind of shot myself in the foot. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get the numbers here first, and then I'll get to that later. So I grossed $2,560.11. That is actually an increase over the last couple of weeks for gross. That was on 1,122 paid miles, which is $228 a mile. My actual miles were 1,892. So I had it come up to 379 out of route miles and 391 bobtail miles. And I separate out the bobtail miles because I live further away from the city than most guys who do this. And so if you're curious about the actual makeup of the numbers, then it'll give you an idea of what to add back onto the net settlement to get an idea of what you might be looking at. So 391 bobtail miles, I figure up basically 9 miles to the gallon as a guess, which would be 43 gallons at $3.40 a gallon, I think is what I paid last week, which would be $146. So you might turn around if you live in a metro area and add in like $75 because you know that you're not going to be bobtailing nearly 400 miles. Now normally I bobtail about 750, it seems, at least since I've been tracking my numbers for bobtail miles. The 379 out of route is because 2 of the days I didn't bobtail home. I took either a loaded container or an empty container with me and then left from home to make my pickup or delivery. So I wasn't bobtailing. I didn't count them as bobtail, but they do count as out of route because they did add miles to those routes. So I don't remember if I said the 1892 actual miles. That rate ends up dragging that 228 a mile down to $1.35. So my paid miles 1122 was 228 a mile. My actual 1892 miles was $1.35. So it does drop it down quite a bit living as far away from the city as I do. My fuel expense of $873.88 and my fixed expenses of $97.50 brings up total deductions of $971.38. So we subtract the $971.38 from the $2560.11. That gives us a net settlement of $1588.74. So a little bit under $1,600. So if you're in the metro area and you did the exact same runs I did, maybe you might be like $1,650, maybe even higher than that, because if you had a situation where you took containers home or to a drop lot near you where you parked your truck, then it might even be $1,750 or $1,800 just kind of depends, but more or less, I just add in about half of that to my settlement, which is about $75, which would take 1588 up to 1650 or so. Now, my total of all of my net settlements for the last 15 weeks is $20,715.84, which averages me $1381.05 a week. The number is getting closer to 400. It is heading in the correct direction. Loads are still not the kind of loads that I need to prove or disprove 2,500 in a week. But I'm not giving up. The point of the video is, using my competitive nature to offset how sometimes I am complacent. So by making myself accountable in these videos, it keeps the drive alive to prove or disprove the ad from the company, and it keeps me pushing towards a higher average, which I won't really go into the amount, but the number that I want it to be, it keeps me pushing towards that. So, and that's the main reason why I do the videos. Now, that is all done. So, what I'll do now is just kind of touch on those comments, because I did have a couple of guys, say I need to park my truck and become an employee. Well, I don't want to be an employee. I do want to have a say over what I do. And if a piece of equipment isn't safe, then I want to have the ability to say I'm not driving it without risking a job. Because there are companies out there that will dismiss you because they can easily get someone else who will go ahead and run it. That's just, how it is. I had someone else say something about I needed to start saving. Probably because last week I said that I had a realization, a number of years back that, I was basically just sort of giving my life away and not having anything to show for it. I assume he kind of took that statement as saying, that I don't save, and I do actually have money in savings, but there are other factors that go into it. Whenever you got things like child support, health insurance on kids, as well as being in a relationship with people that are really, really good at spending your money. So kind of creates a situation where savings isn't that easy to do. Of course, I'm more than capable of spending too. I actually really don't like to, but I am capable. So my numbers are low. I have been putting in a pretty good effort the last few weeks, and it doesn't look like it. Let me go ahead and go back and give some other numbers that I still have from earlier in this 15 weeks. So I broke 1,600. I broke 2,000. I broke 1800, and I broke 1600 again. So I'm not yet at the point of saying that I'm wasting my time trying to achieve, prove or disprove the 2500. And anyone who might have only seen one or possibly two of my videos, or a couple of minutes of this one and a couple of minutes of that one, is not going to know that in a lot of those early weeks, I'd say out of 15 weeks now, probably 10 of the 15 weeks, I'm guessing, has either been a 4-day week, a 3-day week, or a 2-day week. My numbers include my very first week, which was a 2-day week. I worked that Thursday and Friday. There was a couple weeks where they're like, hey, we don't have anything for tomorrow. But then there's also a couple weeks where I worked on my truck, or took my truck to go get inspected. I took a vacation in this 15 weeks. And I basically go middle week to middle of the week. That way, even though I get, 5 or 6 days, I still have at least a small settlement and a small settlement. So, one of those weeks was like 3 days, and the next week was 3 or 4. Those are not all 5-day or 6-day weeks. Those are life. Those are life weeks. If you want to take a vacation, you have to take time off of work. If you got to fix your truck, you've got to take time off of work. And sometimes there is no work, but the work not being available has actually been the smallest percentage for the not having or not working a day. So now if I went back in my records and I pulled out like my very first week, which was 2 days, and I pulled out the week that I left for vacation, the week I came home from vacation, I took out the week that I took time off to work on my truck, and and then just averaged everything, my average would be a lot higher, but it would not be life. Anyway, y'all have a good one. This video went pretty long, and I feel like I just sort of rambled about nothing almost, but I hope y'all have a good one. Enjoy your weekend.